Yasmin. What? What is... What is this? You don't seem very responsive yet. Are you still fully awake? What happened is pretty rough. You should have looked at. But it should be fine by now. Wasn't it a year ago? It's confusing. How did you get out of that unscathed? There are no scars, not even bruises. Shadowy silhouettes move around my field of vision. Everything is blurry. They sound familiar. I remember these voices. How did you guys get here? What is all this nonsense? I'll be upstairs, as always. Sorry, it took us quite a bit to get in here. Yeah. The lock on the door is pretty strong for such an old building. Or at least it was, I guess. Sorry for breaking it. We'll pay later. No, don't worry about that. That's on me. I keep rubbing my eyes so hard that my head starts to hurt. Multiple memories keep overlapping my mind. Some old, some recent, and all of them big, cluttered mess. Their correct order, however, is quite clear to me. For a short moment, words fail me. Is this Hermitage? Yes, that's right. This is Hermitage. Your home. This girl stands by the window. Her expression is as gloomy as the overcast night sky. The two of us are the biggest idiots on earth for staying here for an entire year. So, you were there too? What can I say? Still helped me see it. I was a mess. I had to change everything. I had to change a new set of clothes for coming here. Scarlet frowns and complains, but her words seem strangely emotionless. I'm sure it's meaning to what she's saying, but that's not the point. I can pretty much imagine what she's seen and heard, and I can understand her reaction to those things. But what surprises me is that everyone in the room is wearing an expression similar to hers. I know it's hard. Boss, what'd you see? Events from the past, or rather, from different pasts? I reluctantly heave myself with the catch, sending a sharp pain through my chest as I do so. I touch my chest in an attempt to find what's wrong, but all I can feel is a cold sweat. How fitting that even the pain is an illusion. You're right, by the way. This is an injury from a year ago. You should take it easy. Just puts a hand on my shoulder while simultaneously handing me a cigarette. It's hard to tell what the others are really thinking. I've seen their faces closely and can't help but think they are slightly different than I somehow remember them. A person's eyes reflect their experiences and allow us a glimpse into their soul. The color of their soul changes based on what they see and hear, and I can't say that I've seen them look like this. Tired, worried, confused, yet still clearly intent on not giving up. I take the cigarette from Justin. Still, I expected something healthier. A clear mind, that's me right now. I'm fine, but I understand your concern. After a year, it seems I'm finally back to walking this earth again. Time to rekindle the flame. Just a moment. There are some old scores I'd like to settle. Chapter 6. Lazarus sign. Wait, Chapter 6? Oh, this isn't an epilogue. Oh boy. Okay. A lot more game than I thought we did. Or, I guess we'll see. Alright. I guess, yeah, dang, we're up at 6 chapters now I think about it. I'm used to things having 5, but yeah, dang, we're up at 6. Persona might be 6 as well. I don't know. Anyways. I think now's the right time for me to tell you some things about myself that I've kept secret all this time. I walked to the middle of the cramped room and turned my face to my friends. From the very beginning, I can never recall how I got here. Whether it's the fact that I can't leave this place, or the story of how I got to know the owner of this bookstore, memories elude me. But now, those gaps I'm memories have filled. I don't know how I managed to look in you guys' eyes for an entire year. He must have done something to me. And who exactly are you talking about when you say that guy? The real owner of this bookstore. I'm merely the manager, and that job description sounds a bit too important. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. What I'm saying is that he's not one of the good guys. I'm not sure of a full picture yet, but the situation can't be glossed over with the simple, it's a long story. This will do nothing to lighten their mood, but I'll tell them everything. A long time ago, Scarlet, Nico, and I worked in a case. It was a bad experience, and it ended quite tragically. If my memory serves me correctly, the US bookstore responsible for that incident. He planned a huge ritualistic ceremony at Torah Memorial High School and committed many heinous crimes, to many list them all. At the time, he, I don't know how to explain this. Don't worry, we'll understand. That's why we came here in the middle of the night. The lock breaking apart was kind of unexpected, though. Wait, somebody please explain to me. We actually know what happened at Torah Memorial High School a year ago. I guess you could say we've been there ourselves. Several times, in fact. Quite a few things happened there. Through the theft of the museum, the vandalism in the classrooms, that big hole in the tennis court, the sky changing color, did I miss anything? Probably got turned in the ground beef. How could you be that poor guy? I see. You know what? I think maybe it's smarter if you tell me your story first. My statement seems to put Justin at ease a little. He and Nico exchanged glances for a moment, then both of them turned to look at me. Actually, we... So much happened during the week you were gone. It's not like I expect the situation at the abandoned factory had been completely resolved when they returned to Hermitage, or Hermitage. They spent all their energy trying to gather alive. It's all normal that they didn't pay much attention to the why of it all. Both documents prove that the factory is an ordinary one, and was once a place of great importance, but it's been abandoned for unknown reasons. Who knows how long? Also, the odd machine in the factory basement turned out to be more than unusual, as everyone's out-of-body experience has vividly proven. As it turns out, the machine even had an owner, albeit one who showed up after Nico and the others resolved the situation. What happened there was much more dangerous than I could have ever imagined. I'd never thought that what happened there would cause further events, but the connection's obvious. The facts are plain to see, erasing any need for doubt and skepticism. I had no clue that you guys were the stray cats that came busy back then. As I said before, I should have just carved message to the floor with my claws. I've done the trick. If you had done that, Scarlet would have barbecued you. Trust me. You know how expensive wooden floors like that are? But regardless, I got blue back, all because of you guys. Thanks again. Where'd that come from? You are where the cats are loyal to whoever feeds them the most, alright? Zach, I wonder if you say stuff like that because you think being an idiot is an actual job. Anyway, we never got a chance to explain to Scarlet. Three of us were sent back in time before we could say anything, and we had no way of establishing contact. You turned Nico, Salil into Scarlet, or you turned Nico, Salil into Scarlet, and Zach into, well... Right, Dan. What the hell was he thinking? To be honest, I was more interested in what our trench coat wearing foreigner was up to. After I saw the ritual that the Visionary Society tried to pull off, I thought I'd never seen anything as dramatic and extreme ever in my life. But boy, I was wrong. Those lunatics cost a few people their lives, which aren't bad enough, but judging by what happened to you, well, I'm afraid the whole school's in danger. Guess you're right. What he and the society members tried to do is roughly the same thing, the only difference being that he actually succeeded. You should see it with your own eyes. So you don't need to remind me. Don't need to remind you, do you? When something like that descends upon our world, there's no difference between life and death anymore. Everything we know and everything we're reduced to is nothing. Yes. Speaking of which, what actually happened last year? I highly doubt that kind of thing would do us the kindness of simply disappearing, right? Yeah, please tell us if you can. I'd love to answer you, I really would, but even now, I have next to no memory of anything that happened back then. There's no need for random guesses. I think we're closer to the answer than you think. But, how so? Check this out. That's a good screenshot. Nico opens the form post on my computer. Looks like a pretty standard report at first glance. What's strange about it? Before tonight, tutorial moral was still included in the statistics. No, that can't. Yes, it can. Don't doubt me. I'm right. My memory's just fine. It's okay, Nico. There's no need to pick a fight right now. Listen, I've done my research. There's no point in trying to prove me wrong. I'm trying to explain this to you guys now. It's not my fault if it won't fit through a head as thick as his. You should really brush up on your how social interactions and civilized arguments are supposed to work. There's a fine line between confidence and rudeness. She's just a kid. That's how brats are. Anyway, from what I could see, this has nothing to do with Torah Memorial. It isn't mentioned here. That's just it, you moron. Read between the lines. Wait, are you saying that this is a consequence of what happened? Needless to say a word, choosing to answer Scott's question with a nod instead. Just seems lost in thought, and without even knowing what he's doing, he subconsciously pulls out his phone. Then, he takes a big breath. No, that's a mistake. How is that possible? What? Justin, what's wrong? I pulled up my map app and... no place with that name exists. What? Let me take a look. Holy shit. What you said about life and death now that Marin was right. It just didn't want a few measly human lives. So it didn't stop all the students and visitors falling unconscious. Instead, the whole place just ceased to exist. Even if we do remember it, if it's not physically there anymore, it doesn't mean much. I'm starting to wonder if we really remember it, you know? Can we trust our memories? I'm starting to lose confidence in them. Hold on, what are you implying? We made it all the way to the end and somehow still managed to fail? No, I think the opposite's true. Nick turns away from the screen and gives me a reaffirming nod. Even if we couldn't change everything else, at least he and Scarlet are still with us. What? I think Yasmin sent you back so that you could do one specific thing. Bring back these two and myself. What makes you think that? Aside from certain muscle-bound idiot, do you remember what else you ran into every time I failed? Oh, you mean those gooey, shape-shifting creatures? Yes, we've been forced to act collectively because of their ability to split up and turn into multiple people. And there's no other way. No one wants to turn around just to see their friend being turned into a messy pulp that goes berserk. It's messed up. So in theory, that mask could just turn anything and anyone while we're not paying attention. Still with me? Yeah, you're right about that. Alright, so sort of things become problematic. Why are we still alive kicking when we didn't actually manage to do anything a year ago? The more you think about it, the more everything contradicts itself. Also, I have no recollection of how I got the city a year ago. Neither do Scarlet or the manager. In other words, we don't know what happened after the tour incident. There's a big inconsistency in our gap memories. Like, we've lost a huge chunk completely. Amnesia's a possibility, but what person with amnesia could repair themselves so well? While I gained my senses, I realized I had started a new life. Something I never thought was possible. Wait a minute, are you trying to say that all of this is also pre-planned? Although Slil was the one in the middle of the action, as soon as she came back, Scarlet had the memories of what happened, right? Let's just say we have been through some very dramatic things, isn't that right, Slil? I'm sorry for having used your identity like that. It's fine. We're all together, so we should be happy, right? The machine in the factory exchanged the soul, so to speak, of two bodies, a mental exchange, but how it works is very hard to grasp. That's why for another explanation. A mental exchange is like a transfer of disk data, where the so-called cut is simply a manual deletion of the copy of the original space after the data is copied. The process that can be interpreted by stepping into the light. So for example, during the switch of you and me, each of us, both me and you, inside them at the same time, and it was when we finally stepped through that there was an error, and the second soul wasn't deleted. We think we're ourselves, after all, but our memories are shared, since my body is that of Nico, and the Justin in my head is a replica of leftover from the transfer. It's not the first time we've treated us like this. During the few days we're in the factory, several of us started to feel and behave more and more like actual cats. This may very well be the adaptive process associated with the new body. Then, according to your theory, I think that the Nico part is a foreign memory, and you think that my memory is foreign. Maybe I'm Justin and you're Nico, but because of the cognitive relationship between our bodies, we falsely recognize each other. So because of the accident that interrupted the transfer, we still managed to reproduce a me, a Scarlet, and a fucking idiot. Also, we brought back the store manager, but he seems to have much recent memories. He had no year ago. Yes, he doesn't seem to be someone else's memory. At least that's what we would tell himself. So, I made an exchange with my current self? And because he's himself, we may consider him saved. But things aren't all that easy. The worst possible scenario is that I stumble upon myself as one of those flesh creatures. But it's not like there are any options. Want to join us? What? As I said, not many people are intelligent as intuitive as you are. The fact that you managed to find your way here in less than 2 days is a testament to your good instincts. It takes more than just brute knowledge to create enough events like this in a modern city. Ancient times are fine, but the city's radio environment is so complex that it's very difficult to keep it quiet. You might get your way right now, but I'm sure rituals will be much more elaborate and go smoother if you have help hand like yours. Now that you have no way out, why you consider a more constructive future? It's true. The four of us shouldn't still be able to exist, but maybe our existence was a result of an imitation from the very beginning. He needs us to do things for him, so for that sole reason, there's an us. Can an imitation be so good that it starts to see itself as the real thing? My conclusion nerves everyone in the room. I could cut the tension with a knife. So next time I see myself, I'll get a chance to see how this year's memories have merged back together. So, the situation Yasmin intended for us to be from the very beginning? I guess it depends on whether or not you believe in fatalism. None of us knew what happened on the mountain before all this trouble started. The store manager and Dan were further away, but have no memory of what happened afterwards. If Zach hadn't given you the pills, Scarlet and I wouldn't have been able to follow you up the mountain. If you hadn't kept that creature at bay, none of us would have survived to see Dan open the passageway. If you hadn't returned this through this passageway Dan opened, even if you had gone back in time, the present we would never have remembered anything about the tragedy at Torah. At least now, we can make a change. All because things turned out the way they did. And Yasmin's life was traded in order for us to have this opportunity? I swear if that's the case, I would gladly change places for an instant. I'm aware of that. Nico, are you sure that... Although her expression has changed much, I can feel her give me a piercing stare from behind her bangs. When they were sent back, I remembered that we went to a place I'd never seen before. I guess I swapped places with another object from the scene. There are many cone-shaped pillars of flesh shoot up in the sky, and the sound of whistling, heavy wind was everywhere. I also saw things. I saw Yaz's old room, and there were two people that she called Mother and Father. I think that Yasmin and it have been connected for a long time. That's why it's after her. So in a sense, Yasmin being used until the very end? No, I think the fact we're standing here alive is testament of Yaz's own strong will. What do you mean? Hey, I want to help too. Never mind, it's nothing. I'm always a damn idiot who screws everyone up. That's not true at all. Don't be unreasonable. But listen, no matter what, I want to find that guy. I want revenge. No one's gonna stop you. But you need to at least calm down. Even if you rush out there right now, you'll simply be squashed like a fly in the wall. Damn it! Zach punches the wall next to him, so hard that bits of skin are ripped off his knuckles. His eyes are going in burning rage while he's trying to control himself. It looks like he's finally learned the art of restraint. I pat him on the shoulder and do my best to pick up the flow of conversation. At least this time, we'll have a better chance instead of going in blind and clueless. All I heard is that they seem to have gone off in someplace else at the end, am I right? When will this all be over, my friend? If you could count Torah Memorial right now, and Manila 2 years ago, then all that's left is the Great Mother, fishing village that you mentioned in the Christmas celebration in some other city a year from now. In that case, let's go next year. Are you sure everything went according to plan 1,000 years ago? Even if you say the seed's been planted, are you sure that the ancients had enough knowledge to successfully get the ritual? Alright. He has nothing to do with knowledge. The more important people are, the more blind faith they have. They have enough manpower, and they could read and write. More complicated rituals might have been a bit much, but they were surely able to perform simple animal sacrifices to build a pathway for that being in the depths of the universe. Whatever you say, let's go. First came something that happened 1,000 years ago. Then something 3 years ago in Manila, and now Tora 1 year ago. They seem to have triggered rituals in 3 different places. 3 years ago? Was that the Manila shipwreck? You're right. That could very well be it. I have a feeling that this Christmas is going to be a very busy affair. Come think of it. I've been helping keep track of some secret cults and other groups in the city for months. The people who really know what was going on either end up in jail or fled the city. That includes the monster count in the factory. Either way, we're the ones left to stop him. I mean buzzkill, but how exactly would stop him if we're not even sure what exactly he's planning to do? Don't you remember what you told me once? Cities are flowing kinds of trouble these days. Bizarre accidents, all sorts of strange cases popping up left and right, and to that, the ever-growing tension and stricter policing than ever. And all that does is complicate things even further. The question is, when it comes down to it, will these people even have the means to save their city? Wait, are you saying it's deliberately spreading those rumors to cause a panic? I wouldn't call them rumors. You saw it happen at Tora Memorial with your own eyes. The big hole near the riverside viewing platform city looks exactly like the one in the tennis court at Tora Memorial. Whatever it is, it can't be good news. Also, I was at the stage train building. I thought I heard them whisper or something, as if something remarkable was about to appear or happen. We know how that turned out. Going to such lengths, even if it means alerting the local authorities. It's just a plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's a chance for him to get you involved, force me to step in and take care of the threat that exposes himself. Even if he fails, he'll have another good story to spread around. I can't believe how ridiculous that sounds. These topics have been all over the internet lately. All kinds of rumors have been popping up. His plan is to spread fear and unrest wherever he needed to. At Tora Memorial, the trace of death and destruction left behind by those monsters serve the same purpose. That's why everything was so smoothly for him when that thing actually appeared. And he intends to do it all over again here. I won't make it easy for him, I can tell you that much. That's actually an advantage of sorts for us. The more preparation he had to do, the more he was relying on these tricks that we've finally seen through. After all, he himself said that he only discovered one way to do it in his lifetime. What if I said that I simply need everyone here to die in despair? Although Tora Memorial is over the city, people would rather watch these ominous omens begin to descend over their heads like a book of Revelation that may not know what color. They may not know what the color means, but that won't matter. They will feel as powerless as you do, losing control over their own body, They will have trouble breathing, and I won't even have the strength to close their eyes. They will watch as those around them die from dehydration, and there'll be absolutely nothing they can do about it. Some people may try to find out what happened, but I'm not afraid that there are too many people as smart as you. And even if they did, what else could they do to me? Those foolish will only fear, and the wise will become more and more desperate. It has to happen that way, or the rest of the ritual cannot be fulfilled. Sounds like merely torturing us to death won't satisfy you. It's just part of the offering. If there was another way to do it, I would have been happy to do so, but in the end, I'm still a novice at wielding fear and despair. Just an old enough to knock on the door of such a great being. Looks from his hat, revealing a patch of light gray hair, although judging by his face, he looks to be in his 30s. The line between his eyebrows can't be concealed any longer. It's funny how people build civilizations, forgetting how much their ancestors were in great awe of the great beings who wouldn't cast on our planet so much as a second glance. We have fallen to shame, though humanity's foolish deeds. But for those greater beings, time is child's play. All that matters is circumstances and method. By creating a time and fear of awe again, we'll finally be in a position to pay them again after these past 20 centuries never existed. First, he needs the right emotions. He already told himself that the knowledge he possesses can only be fueled from fear and despair. Secondly, the method he uses to create these emotions must be a direct connection to the rumors. I don't believe they went through all this trouble to just place for fools. Also, we have already seen his rituals. He is indeed much more skilled and versed in these unknown arts than any of us. He has both motivation and the means to do it. This event must be even bigger in size than the last one, though I can't even begin to fathom how he intends to do something more excessive than removing a city from existence. Disappear would mean the end, as simple as that. Anyway, I think he's trying to use rumors to spread fear again, this time in an even more extreme manner than Tutorial Memorial. Tell me, detective, what kind of scenario would meet all these conditions? Christmas Eve is drawing near, and preparations are already underway. Among one of the most anticipated events of this year is, of course, the city's very own traditional annual Christmas parade. This year's parade in particular has attracted worldwide attention due to the participation of very important political summit members. It's shaping up to be the biggest and most record-shining Christmas parade yet. The departments in charge have said that they'll do their very best to ensure it'll be a peaceful parade that everyone can enjoy. Much effort is being put into keeping the streets safe. A citywide event? One that would be perfect to remind everyone of all the rumors that I'm floating around. Perfect opportunity to spread panic. First comes the prophecy, then the witness to it, then belief. That's the order of things. He wants an actual apocalypse. If that's his plan, we might still have a chance. I glance at the book at my desk and suddenly feel a weird sense of compassion for a man who's done so much evil. There's no room for error now. Fear and despair, eh? Let's show him just how desperate we are. Alright, 12-3. So why'd you ask me to come out here? Oh, right, that's the least out Salil. Sorry, sister. I know you've been really busy lately, but I just can't do this on my own. Never mind that. I'm more interested in knowing why you called me up out of the blue. What's going on? Well, you know... I'm sorry, but the manager asked me to keep it a secret. All I can say that's really important. I see. Really important. Sister, please believe me. That's enough. I just have one condition. Whenever you ask for my help, don't apologize first. Huh? It's just something you shouldn't do, you understand? Yeah, okay. So tell me, what does that cold-hearted guy want us to do? Place where two paths meet, with trees on either side. Damn, what these stores have any house numbers? First floor, glass windows, often closed, but with a sign? Alright, it looks like you're playing hermit. What the hell's going on here? Anyone there? Can I come in? There's no need to knock. The store manager's out on business, so we're closed. Really? I seem to be unlucky today. So, this is what you look like in person? No, I mean, I didn't think so. You're Justice's friend, right? I guess so. What's your name? Nico? We could skip the pleasantries. You take a look up around stairs. Alright, seems interesting. That's your plan? That's right, since the boss doesn't want us anyone to interfere, so we have to hit each of them pretty hard. So how'll this go? You're simply planning to demolish the house, right? I can't believe these are actual pictures. If you want to set this up yourself, at least do it properly, okay? No, sorry, my grades aren't that good. That's the best I can do. At least you're not ashamed to ask for help. What are these big piles for? You know, we... What? Won't? I'm gonna guess won't. I have no idea. You know, no, it's just want. Okay, there shouldn't be an apostrophe there. Okay. You know, we want to put a big hole in the columns. Stop. Do you consider yourself immoral? Where did you get this thing? I just copied it somewhere. If it works, right? I think it's pretty simple. Didn't you do that dangerous smoke bomb thing? One thing leads to another. The principle of atomic bombs, that's quite simple. Why don't you get some yellow cake, and I'll make one for you. Yellow cake? What's that? Is that edible? I really can't fucking compete with you. Please, Nico. You can be completely command, but just please help me. Why would I want to be commander? You have no intention of giving up, do you? Sorry, I can't help it. Forget it. Being angry at you isn't worth it. It's my fault. If I were better at fighting, I wouldn't have bothered you at all. I'm not sure how much of a pain in the ass it's gonna be. I'd say it become quite a big problem for everyone. I'll leave it at that. Are you sure that guys will be willing to help? What else is there to do but grovel and beg when the time comes? That's what has to be done. No, I mean, they are... There's no difference between you, me, or them. Everyone's the same. I have a point, even if you have no reason to believe it. If you're gonna say men who have fought together are friends or something like that, save your fucking breath. And why are we doing this? Well, what are your chances of winning without this? No, slim at most. I thought so. Let's go. Go where? To get you some materials, of course, you moron. I'm gonna be busy for the rest of the month, so you prepare yourselves. Don't worry, I'm prepared. This is the last battle. We'll have to give it our all, right? Jeez, skipping a lot of time. Here you go. This is... The stuff found in the abandoned factory was unexpectedly usable. Toggle the knob and adjust the intensity, and then press here to... Hey, that's dangerous. So, this is the lowest intensity. No wonder the monkey took out everyone single-handedly. It's too extravagant to be used as a simple taser. If we had to use it... If it had used it, it wouldn't have survived at all. True. But in this case, did the owner of this gun release the monkey? It's been abandoned for a long time, and I don't think it makes sense to think about it chronologically. Unless it's been there all along. But that wouldn't explain why the people who took over the factory left it lying around. Besides, it saved the manager a year ago, right? If it ended up getting out of there, how did it get in the factory? What happened back then? This caused me a headache. Nothing adds up. Well, we'll work on it later. We don't have time to go on this right now. Well, at least Yasmin and that thing probably won't hurt us. I have Zach think for that. By the way, what have those guys been up to lately? There are still many things waiting to be done for that project. Salil is always disappearing, and I don't think Elise will be able to make it. Why don't you ask them for me? This could backfire. But I guess y'all's been pretty busy. What's going on? Nothing. I'm just a little nervous. It happens. Come on, take a deep breath with me. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Stop it. I'm teaching a valuable life lesson here. One can only do one thing well at a time. So if you're busy worrying on other nonsense, what will happen to your main task? That's true, but I don't see people as cabbages like you do. Oh well, you don't just have access to the place, don't worry. The so-called officials are just mortals with high hats. Since they have ears and mouths, we can have a way out. Sounds like Crow Manifesto. From another perspective, this could also be called a flexible approach. I'm perfectly aware of your philosophy when it comes to life. There's no need to remind me. That's right. Besides, you know why we're here, don't you? So the audit's 1 month. That guy's requests are always pretty challenging, and you and I wouldn't be able to do something difficult on our own. That's why we're staying together, so stop feeling sorry for yourself, Detective. Are you sure you want to continue calling me Detective? You're really getting into this, aren't you? So what's next for our company representative, Mr. Justin? Huh? What next? It's time for the audience to see how exciting our game will be. Alright, Christmas Eve. No matter how strange the journey, time doesn't stand still for Zach. The young, temperamental teen leans against the pillar. He presses his forehead against the cold metal to keep himself up on his feet. He needs to be ready for what comes next. It's not here yet. The decoy should do the trick. His explaining the store manager's plan is crude and simplistic, but it looks like it just might work. No matter what, he knows someone will try and stop him. During his final moments of last year, he experienced what spiritual transformation really means. If Dan saw the images, it's clear how he'll act. Which expression should I wear? How should I act when I face him? Zach keeps asking himself. Obviously, anger towards Dan drives him, but there are other underlying feelings as well. This isn't about winning or losing. On a deeper emotional level, Zach feels like Dan owes him some answers. Dan's never mentioned a reason for his vile actions. Zach is scared that if he doesn't find out, he'll end up missing something important and grow up to be no better than Dan. He doesn't want that to happen. His target finally arrives. Dan looks taller than last time. The giant man's imposed silhouette looks almost beast-like in the dark moonlight that illuminates the factory. As always, Dan hasn't showed up unarmed, has shown up unarmed, but Zach remains high alert and won't let himself distract for even a second, and we're sacking off. Though his throat is clearly dry, Zach swallows out of sheer nervousness and clenches his sweaty fists. He doesn't want to show any fear, especially not now. It's amazing how much effort you put in repairing that piece of junk. What a vivid imagination. You really fool yourself, huh? Are you proud of yourself for not giving us at least a chance to fight? Sounds like you haven't given this much thought. You want to wait until the whole world is on fire for coasting up in a time machine? What option do we have here? Do you want us to point shotguns at your head again? Take a look at yourself. Just how naive are you? You've gone too far. Dan is nothing more than a monster that just so happens to have a humanoid shape. His face is barely visible. Zach only recognizes him because of the repulsive scent that accompanies him wherever he goes. Come on, why so rude? I would say that I'm looking mighty fine and in good shape today, wouldn't you agree? Unlike those two lucky brats, I had to work 1,000 times harder to get this thing to work. It's easy once you get used to it. Maybe you should give it a try. You know, at first I thought you might just be a victim too, but it turns out I could have been more wrong. Nothing about you is human anymore, not your brain, nor your body. Zach's comments make Dan break out in thunderous, condescending laughter. So what? Before I turned to this, I was just trying to do the right thing, trying to fix things. Just like you are right now. What do you want with an alien machine that you don't even understand? Except pray to it like a primitive caveman. Dan being the one to initiate the conversation is unexpected. Zack tries his best to hide his nervousness. Oh yeah? Those photos Nico posted online sure seem useful. Considering the fact there is supposedly nothing we can do. You spend a lot of your free time making special trips for us. You're full of yourself. But you should really learn how to think before you speak. How could you not know what I've been through? Even if I'm starting to forget now, I remember a lot of things you've done. Saying this reminds Zack Yasmin, and he regrets having said anything. He swallows bitter taste in his mouth and continues. I think it's safe to say that being... That's not even a word. Intricities? No? Of that thing in the basement are secret with us. Intricacies. Okay. I've just never seen that word spelled. Or said that word. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that the intricacies of that thing in the basement are no secret to either of us. Oh yeah? What great heroic lines, you little punk. How long have you been rehearsing that script? You know? I keep seeing your face every time I go to sleep. It's what's driving me all this time. In a true soldier's hands, a blade and a gun are quite equally dangerous. Zack grasps the object in his pocket and steps out of the shadows to face Dan. I don't be a coward anymore. Oh, but you are. And you always will be. You'll change your mind soon enough. No matter how many times I fail, I will always come back here and tell you the same thing, over and over again. The machine downstairs seems to stop functioning, and the beeps echoing through the room are growing increasingly louder. That gives Zack the last bit of courage he needs to irritate his opponent. Care to guess how many times it's happened before? Dan arches his body slightly, as if he wasn't actually playing serious until now. This one little movement completely changes the atmosphere. There's no turning back now. Zack's neck stiffens. He's determined to keep Dan in his direct line of sight. I hope you understand what you're doing. Yeah, I do. So well, in fact, that I can't help but feel like a fool for not having done this earlier. No regrets then, huh? I don't want you to complain. You won't. The stoic type. I like that. Well, you just die. And just like that, Zack swings his fist one last time. I guess this is more exercise for the year. Once again, I wipe the sweat off my forehand and lean against the railing to catch my breath. This Mao Metropolitan Tower, the tallest building in the entire city. Something someone once said to me made me decide to climb this tower. There is no elevator at the top, making a journey that my knees may never forgive me for in this lifetime. The security corridor is completely empty. I saw this occasional cigarette butt or two lying in the corner on lower floors, but it's so high up now that everything looks as if no one else has ever been up here before. We've all seen buildings like this get hijacked in movies countless times. Though corporate espionage is hard to prevent, companies never skimp on money for security. Buildings like this have security companies keeping a watchful eye on them, day and night. However, it's Christmas, and even though those with the most thankless jobs need some time to breathe and be with their families, that is why today security measures are nowhere near as tight as they usually are. Or maybe there's another reason security is so lax. The security door of the rooftop is unlocked. I push it open and stare into a ray of moonlight. I'm greeted only by the wind and a lone figure standing there in silence. You're late, manager. That is a beautiful screenshot. Alright. Don't say that. It's not an appointment. But we did in a way. Wouldn't you say so? You and I have a lot of business together. Now the time has come for some closure for the both of us. It took me a while to shake the feeling of disgust I felt after I found out you've been using me as your pawn all along. I did that, the job became easier. That's nice. It should be pretty easy. I didn't pay you any salary after all. I can't say anything suspicious yet. I approach him with the utmost caution, ready for anything. Oh, right, this is my voice. I was one man all around the world for a whole year. All because of you and your ridiculous plan. You don't possibly expect me to be thankful for that, do you? But you meet some marvelous people and make some friends as a result, did you not? If it meant sheltering them from all this madness, I would gladly choose not to know any of them. You're asking a question that actually meaning it shows that your brain is twisted. You've gone off the rails. You could say whatever you want. I won't stop you. Just know that at this point, nothing you do or say is of any consequence. It is futile to waste your time thinking about what-if scenarios. You sound pretty convinced you're the right one. Indeed I do. Because I know you can't stop me. So now you just pretend I'm a fool who lacks common sense, is that it? What a sudden change in tone. Yeah, it is true. As beings bound by time and shackles to its wellness, our brains are too young, too naive, to be considered special in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, makes you proud of who I am. Then I dare you to use that proud little brain of yours. It shall soon be apparent, even to you, that victory has long been decided. He doesn't pay attention to my movements at all. He stands still, snipping his fingers. His indescribable color emerges in front of him once again and begins to expand. It looks much larger than before. A relentless swirl of rhythmic colors all over its surface. Despite the cold gust of winds blowing across the rooftop, a burning sensation clings to my eyes and my skin. I can't shake it off. Our worst fears are suddenly become reality. I'm scared to even think about how many lives are being taken all over the city right now. I should have known something was seriously wrong from the moment that hole opened up at the Riverside viewing platform. Oh, please. I would not have allowed you to sell Hermitage if I had not been 100% sure you were the right one. What a way of putting it. You really had it planned out. Write down your whole act. What about your old friends you keep talking about? That was just some more bullshit you fed me, right? Not at all. They actually exist, or rather, existed. Quite an interesting bunch, I have to say. Thanks to them, I was able to search the planet for the right signs. My immaculate vision would not have come true so easily if it hadn't been for their help. They were on the right path, but their knowledge was lacking. The devil is in the details, as you know. They were but a few baby steps away from success, yet I tried to help point them in the right direction. I ran into difficulties. Everyone went crazy for the ritual was finished, which had to do with a lack of fuel, obviously. And what's the plan this time? Do you want to let this colorful cloud of yours drain the whole city dry, like you did a year ago? The closer it is to being complete and fully nurtured, the less it thrives for lives. However, its more mature form possesses another really important characteristic, and you have your very dedicated friends to thank for that. A grand darkness is blooming the sky, covering almost the entire building. The sudden outburst lasts for only a short moment, and it's much less aggressive than in the past. A few quick flashes of lightning, the sky goes silent again. My eyes aren't easily deceived. The darkness doesn't belong to that night. It's an illusion whose only purpose is to hide something evil. Though the light of the moon and stars glowing faintly through the dark veil, it's nothing more than a poor imitation of the real thing. Did you know the it appears in all historical records over the ages is the same being? It's a spatio-temporal discontinuous, something that was born infinite times and has died just as many deaths. It has always maintained the same characteristics, which is why it has been studied by civilization after civilization through the ages. Standing on the shoulders of my unfortunate predecessors, I had an idea. Since it was limited by space and time, could it possibly be that every possible moment, at whatever location, is connected to this being? Think of it as a makeshift string telephone. If someone talks one side of the cup, or talks in one side of the cup, the other side, which the string is attached, makes a sound. In a way, the talking is happening in two different spatial locations at the same time. What if the same theory of talking applied to the rituals? If it existed long enough, it would be everywhere at once in the universe. In that case, we would not be dealing with two different spatial locations at the same time. We would be dealing with enough spatial locations at all times. With the tools I have at my disposal, I can use people's fears and their despair to light a beacon on the planet, to light the way for general being I want to attract. But this beacon needs to be so unbelievably bright. It's not simply possible to make it all come together at the same point in time. This is my purpose. I had to find a way. I need this beacon to hover big, however big it needs to be. The destruction of Torah was just a tiny speck of light, a small spark in the grand scheme of things. Its shadow is still far away, lingering in the sky, and the light of a small city can only draw it so far. This pitiful world is so fragile that time and space would disintegrate and planets would collapse before the beacon reaches the necessary brightness. So, I decided to do this step by step, by using the fracture in space and time to initiate rituals at different points in time to attract this great being, and simultaneously allowing them to happen here. I can gather fuel in a relatively safe and stable environment, and it's here that the real, actual beacon is being lit. It has not arrived yet, and is still lying in wait on other side of that gate. People will see the gate being torn down. They will bear witness as everything around them deteriorates and crumbles, thus providing me with a constant stream of fear. And all this sounds unbelievably complicated, does it not? You can imagine the time and effort that I put into setting this up. The imagery in this twisted plan conjures up in my mind and sends shivers down my spine. Why? Why persist for so long? Because of the deal that was made, the promise was given. I spent most of my life studying these ancients and their successful exchange of words with beings far greater than us, until I finally realized that their appetite is more insatiable than anyone who came before me ever even realized. Was it promised? The life of the person I love the most. I am not some great scholar, nor am I a part of some mystical religion. I had a job as a teacher in Lutheran, had friends, family. If things had turned out different, I'm sure I would have grandchildren by now, you know? As well as I do, that nobody respects a lunatic who squats in alleyways and chants. Completely confused. I wanted to stay away from all those weird stories, the occult, and the esoteric. I was going to let desperation drive me there, but in the end, I succumbed to it. If this is what it takes to bring her back from the dead, so be it. Nothing else matters. So that's when you started praying to them? Believe me, I tried. Prayers don't work. They aren't gods. They're just another collective group of beings that exist far outside the realm of awareness. To us, they appear mysterious and powerful, but that is not how they see themselves. They do not want to rule. They have no concept of domination. What we think of them and our perception of them is absolutely worthless. A single-minded search would never lead anywhere. Some of them have their own rules and judgments, a codex so strange it makes no sense to us. It is not up to us to understand it, but to accept it. Is that why a pact has to be made? Reason and knowledge help me see the why. That is the one thing I have modern civilization to thank for. You did this without hesitation, while lacking important information. I dare say reason and rationality aren't your strong suits. They are like incredibly complex functions. And I look for answers to them in all sorts of ways. I have to rely on experience from the results to slowly make sense of it all. Like a primitive barbarian. That is what they offer. Are you willing to sacrifice everything for it? Like I said, our thoughts and values are worthless. But who knows what they're thinking? I'm starting to understand a little, I think. But there must be a more important reason, right? Despite the fact that he keeps mentioning reasons and speaking clearer than he ever has done before, every word comes out of this man's mouth reeks with the stench of madness. A madness no amount of fancy words could ever hide. An axe murderer in a neat suit and tie is still an axe murderer at the end of the day. I haven't uttered a single lie. Not about my origin, not about my love. I have never stopped loving my sweet Leona. She was the gentlest soul of all, and if you had known her, you'd understand my devotion. It's just that, having seen things for what they are and their actual scope, this place is no longer big enough for me. Is that what you want to do? To run away from the world you're in? Leave it all behind? No. I want to transform it into a more eye-opening place. The rules will be chaotic. All order will be reversed. An environment much better suited to host what we can't grasp. A price well worth paying. Even if that price includes everything we know? I don't think I need to repeat myself. Okay, so you're showing your true colors. I can tell you're being honest just now. I can be absolutely sure you're nothing more than a sadistic idiot. Moral judgment now? So what if I am? It changes nothing. Of course it does. Just like this. I pull out a cube I'm carrying around all this time, press the button on it as I point out to the liver. The white light is as dazzling as ever, and it pierces the air with a roar that sounds like an electric whip cracking against the ground. Its bundled energy is thrown towards its target. Ugh. He hits full force, his body turns stiff. Sparks fly across it. It's less than half a second. He has turned blacker than carbon. His limp body falls to the ground. He reeks of burnt organ matter, a viable stench I instinctively frown at. It actually worked. It's Lil early to make that kind of declaration. What? He steps out of a dark corner and stands behind his tattered body, giving it a light kick with his foot. Oh my god, the Steelers are gonna win this game. Anyways. The target I hit is bubbling all over. Its form crumbling into a flowing mass. This is not how a human body would react to a hit like that. That thing was a great shot. It's probably gonna stay down for a while. You've just been using it as a stand-in? You were in a civilization yourself just a month ago. It seems a little inappropriate for you to not be surprised with something like this, don't you think? I admit, I'm a little disappointed if this is truly all you prepared. Do you have any flips in your sleeve? Or has it all come down to this? Or did you even think it would come this far? How do you take a guess? Get him. Black Shadows swoop over me and wrap themselves around my body. Let go of me. My stroke is futile, and the black, fleshy mass isn't bulging as much as an inch. It's an iron grip around me grows ever tighter. The disparity in power between man and monster is so great that once you lose the upper hand for a second, the outcome is basically decided. My apologies, but things are about to begin. He snaps his fingers at the sky, and as he speaks, ripples go through the darkness around us before as it starts to change. No incantations, no prayers, no ascension trees of any kind. His style is unlike any other practicing scholar I've ever met. Concise, dry, and utterly emotionless. His sole focus lies in reaching his ultimate goal. He does not expect you to understand, but he himself has no doubts. His resolve never falters. That is the scariest thing about him. The lanky further opens and closes his mouth, as if he were speaking to someone that isn't there. The aggressive waves in the air reverse their direction and disappear without a trace. My head, however, is fiercely pulsating, like it's trying to warn me of a danger unfathomable proportions that is rapidly approaching. Please, just stay right where you are. I have never made sure to save you a fantastic seat. He turns his head and leisurely gives me a slight tip of the hat. After all, staying where you are and not doing anything is the smartest choice you can make at this point. Alright, this game. These voices just killing my throat. Good God. Alright. Let's do it. Another sharp piece of metal flies out past Zach's scalp. It is a steel pipe that is now buried in the pillar next to him. A regular old steel pipe wouldn't be that scary in itself, but the fact that it pierced a solid concrete pillar easily enough to make him gulp. Zach doesn't linger in the sand stock too long, and next wave of attacks quickly follows. He rolls across the ground to evade him. This time, the whole pillar comes down. It crashes down the ground with a force of a cannonball, spinning about several times until it disappears out of Zach's sight. Dan clearly hasn't been aiming properly, or rather, he's been teasing Zach all this time. He's been hanging around the same spot, throwing every object he can find in Zach's direction. This is obviously far beyond the power of a normal human being. Zach feels like he's been playing hide-and-seek with a living tank. Although he is more familiar with the terrain and quicker on his feet, he can't shake the feeling of helplessness that dominates his subconscious. Now, what's going on? Show me how fast you are. Spare me your small talk. Let's talk more action. A cable reel gores towards Zach with the velocity of a rocket launcher. He dodges it, but its heavy side wheel hits his left shoulder. You've been running around like a nimble little monkey. Do you feel so at home at this place already? Only you knew. A factory is no place children play in. Watch out for collapsing ceilings. The ceiling does not fully collapse, but the heavy concrete pillars are broken free from the cables. It comes crashing down, ready to crush anything beneath it. It's a trap. One that's supposed to bring this encounter with Dan to a swift and violent end. Dan notices that, but it doesn't stop him. Crap. Zach can hear his companion cursing. Oh crap, curse, whatever. The detective who's hiding in the shadows is one who triggered the trap. In addition to helping the store manager with the production of the item, Salil, Zach, and Justin spent over 2 weeks gathering materials and set everything up inside the factory so that they have enough tricks up their sleeve for this particular encounter. Limited in the number of uses and not exactly accurate, it's still the only way to fight an opponent as rash and fearless as this. Sorry, it doesn't seem like it's high enough. Justin stayed in the shadows, one on one side of the broken pile of debris, and quietly apologized to Zach. Don't worry, we've got our options. Yeah, you're pretty good with traps, I'm impressed. Where'd you learn all this? From a TV show, can you believe that? Yeah, you're a good learner then. If you like it so much, I'm sure that's impressed you as well. In his exact words, just pulls down a second rope. This time a spear made of numerous sharp steel pipes rams down the opposite direction. While coming up to the spot, Zach didn't forget about Dan's physical abilities. Zach knows not to bet it's the same thing. Which is why he and his companions have laid out a series of traps all along the route. This whole setup would be enough to hunt down an elephant. In fact, the improvised crossbow frame for firing steel pipes that uses thick spring plates covered from old trucks. The projectile's poundage is hard to measure, but it's damn sure to be heavy. Strange enough, it seems as if Dan has no intention of moving out of the way. How cute. What is that? The massive bolt does indeed pierce through Dan, but it doesn't move. The wound is caused by the massive kinetic energy. Neither bleeds nor is torn open. Instead, the projectile smoothly pierces through him as if it met him with no resistance at all. Dan chuckles as he reaches out and bends the explosive part to break it off. Zach can't even begin to imagine the rest of the projectile Dan has swallowed is even gone. Fucking useless. Despite all the obstacles separate him from his opponent, Zach is sweating profusely. Dan, however, ignores Zach and looks at the ceiling with a piercing gaze. Look at that heat. It looks like there's something going on there too. Isn't that right? What did you say? You heard me. I know exactly why you let me right to this very spot. You along? You're obviously stalling for time. There are enough distractions for me not to notice that. But you know what, boy? Feel free to stall as long as you want. I'm enjoying myself. I rarely get the chance to enjoy myself this much, so of course I want this to last a little longer. I can overcome as always, huh? It's got plenty of fun to go around. Don't worry about that. Yeah, everyone has the limits, kiddo. I'm not saying that I'm the exception to that rule. What I'm saying is that what you consider to be the limit is where the fun starts for me. Or these cowards on the sidelines of your big genius plan. Intimidated by Dan's mocking statements, Zach does respond. The others are lying in wait and hold their breath, waiting for a chance to strike. Zach knows how worthless their attempts to be without the element of surprise. Responding would mean admitting it, but staying stubborn wouldn't change a thing. What's that mean look in your eyes? Yeah, sorry, I thought for a second you had a grand plan to prey on the predator, but I underestimated you. Just how simple are you? Even if they're once your companions, you don't actually think these abdominal monsters will be your friend in the long run, do you? Come on, be realistic. Some changes can't be reverted. You want to talk? That's the exact reason I ain't friends, right? Enough of this. Let's see who's preying on who now, shall we? In sync with Zach's threat, the ambushers rise up and reveal their weapons. They're in a good position to attack. Zach knows that they'll try to storm Dan, take advantage of their height, and their unusual large bodies to overwhelm them. Momentum and speed are often the keys to the fight. Much more so than thorough strategy. These street gangs, delinquents, may have forgotten many things, but their way of survival is engraved in their bones. Even transformed, they are still as resilient as ever. Despite the fact that they are different from the past selves, they are still driven by their courageous heat blazing in their hearts. Perhaps to boost morale, or to intimidate their enemy, they keep roaring with their deep, rumbling voices. The sound no longer bears any resemblance to a human voice. As Zach plants his feet firmly on the ground, resisting the instinctive fear welling up inside of him. What now, big guy? How about it? Dan's reaction is not what Zach imagined. In the face of impending danger, Dan has always laughed it off so far. This time, he's smiling. His expression is cold and serious. The ominous silence freezes the air. After what feels like eternity, he speaks again. Listen up, kid. I'll explain something to you about what it means to be human. Humans have brains. They can use tools. They can form families. They can get together and form groups to eat, drink, dress, and sleep. Such is the burden of being a human. But those guys, they're different. They no longer have a place in society. Nothing is waiting for them out there in this cold world. As long as they're wearing that skin, they'll never be able to live as normal human beings. They'll be hunted down, despised by all. There is only one way out of this, and that's to give up this old identity and build a new home. If anyone tries to get in the way of that, they will be killed. That's just the way of life, of anything alien in this world. Things may have been different in the past, but now that we unquestionably rule the world, there is no redneck peace. There is no middle ground. It is survival of the fittest. Funny. You don't strike me as someone who would choose the underdog side. I'm not. She is. That girl is much more advanced than any of you. Yasmin? Can't you still have a normal life if you're being influenced by that thing? Have you ever asked yourself that? You probably don't even really care about her, do you? You only think about yourselves. You're that kind of... You're like that. I'm like that. Everyone is. There is no one difference between us. That's why the world is so cruel. Tell me what a place like this is worth if it doesn't even take mercy on a child. No. Sex heart's pounding his chest. It's not because Dan's words, it's because something has started happening outside the window without noticing. A strange presence peeking inside. The realization suddenly hit Zach. Although he can't perceive what exactly it is, he doesn't know what it is. All he knows is that it exists. Cold sweat is dripping from his body. Someone ignorant to it all may have not felt a thing, but Zach heard the store manager talk about the plan. Because of that, he can only think of one thing that must happen out there, and it's terrifying. Look. Seems like you've already failed. What exactly are you planning to do? Don't bunch me together with that rambling loon. I don't care what he thinks. I just see his results. Once everything turns to chaos and the lawless time ceases to exist, things will happen all on their own. By then, Yasmin won't have to worry about the secret she's been carrying with her any longer. And you're willing to destroy everything just for that? Enough is enough. I won't let you take that away too. The giant man breaks a steel pipe off the wall and throws it like a javelin. It grazes Zach's scalp and flies out of sight. Zach's companions seem startled by the attack, and fear begins to bubble up inside him. If you want to side with them, go ahead. Try and be friends with them, but this naive will only get you killed. If not today, then tomorrow, there will be retribution. His back's against the wall. Zach grits his teeth, and he tries to keep a clear head, pushing dark thoughts aside. He'll talk to hold him back all this time. You'll get what's coming soon enough. Don't you worry. Let's go then. Bilbo turns away from the situation to keep laying Dan around like this. After weighing his options, Zach decides there's only one way to go, and his companions seem to be thinking the same thing. Zach's half-human, half-fish companion leap high into the air and throw themselves at the laughing man. The different strength would usually make this a suicide mission, but they seem to be betting on their strength in numbers. The smallest openings will be enough to start targeting Dan's vital spots. The former liquids, formerly all brawn of our brains, had developed an understanding of tactics and know that work together is key. This means everyone, without exception, is on the move. Zach picks up a crowbar from the ground and rushes towards Dan. Yeah, you punks don't think you can beat me like this, do you? First time, Dan's expression changes while he faces the assault. He looks up with narrowed eyes, most likely to count the number of incoming attackers. There is no doubt that he completely miscalculated Zach's intentions. It's finally time to pay for every single despicable deed he has done. Zach clutches his weapons tightly at his feet and hit the ground running. Now, Salil! What's that sound? Without warning, the floor in front of Zach turns into a magnificent, bright display of fireworks. Salil looks down at the bunched breast with a baffling expression, beads of sweat dripping from her forehead. Zach never said just how big explosions are going to be. Was that maybe a bit too much? Do you know what I've always despised? people who choose not to face the unknown, useless, meaningless terms, such as awe and respect as excuse. These people are fools given into their ignorance. I know that whatever power is out there, no matter how grand, I can take advantage of it by simply upholding my rational thinking. It does not matter how small and weak I am. I will never have to bow down to worship anything or anyone. At least, that used to be my way of thinking until I experienced all of this. It was in that moment I realized that worshiping greatness has nothing to do with pride, right or wrong. Ultimately, worship is actually the nature of all wisdom. Are you trying to justify this somehow? No, this is of no importance to me. He is standing at the edge of the rooftop, staring into the distance as if to remnants on the past events. When I discovered it, and behold its splendor, I was a little luckier than the others, seeing as I did not fall unconscious. It was deep in the dense jungle of a remote, uninhabited mountain range. At a lake, we performed a small-scale ritual to experiment with the methods we found in ancient sculptures. In fact, it did not appear in any physical sense at all. We merely glimpsed in it swimming between dimensions through the reflection created by the ritual of the water's surface. Projecting a small hint of its existence was enough to evaporate most of the lake. It was nowhere near as clear as lake back then as it is right now. It took me so long to perfect this. So long to interpret things in the right way so as not to repeat foolish mistakes of those that came before me. I have paved the way for it successfully. This shape. I like for it as the answer itself. You may not believe this, but it was utterly perfect, infallible, inaccurate. You cannot even begin to imagine. In the midst of the storm of ecstasy, I can feel the cosmos all around me paying attention to this very event. There are so many beings throughout the universe who, like me, sacrifice everything to finally see, to catch a glimpse of it. I am not alone. Just like me, there are seekers of purpose, and many of them have abandoned their superficial pretensions long before me, offering up all they have and all they are in search of it. I sought dialogue with them, and some of them responded. Our thoughts converged in that reflection, communicated with each other. It was then I truly realized how narrow-minded and outdated my way of thinking was in the past. I analyzed the work of others to find out where they had failed, digging deeper into the secrets that they had ever dared. Even if their rituals never fully succeeded in one place, the sum of them can be transcended on the limits of the world's capacity and make it a reality. Every ritual is meaningful in that sense. This encounter never existed, never witnessed before, never to be witnessed again. I'm afraid my mortal body and flesh would never suffice for even a small step of this plan. I have a limited lifespan and my knowledge is nothing in the grand scheme of things. All I carry with me is an idea. This explains his appearance. The bizarre ripples pulsating on and around his body are proof that he has left humanity behind. I try to extend my right hand, but the black mass wrapped around me senses insanity. It tightens its grip and wrenches my fingers away, forcibly knocking the cube out of my hand. He doesn't seem to particularly concerned about the sudden outburst, and patiently waits for his sinister assistant to finish its work before resuming his speech as if nothing ever happened. In order to accomplish my ultimate goal, I borrowed these efficient helpers. As far as help is concerned, theirs is not rooted in Samaritan generosity. Once more, it is an investment. If I fail to prove my worth, and I am unable to produce the wanted results, I will lose all value to them. In that case, these two servants will be the first to abandon me. I can no longer discern between myself and these abominations of black flesh. Who is who? I am not afraid. The deeper I go, the closer certain doom encroaches. I'm a liar, a filthy liar. My rituals are nowhere near as elaborate as those conducted in the past. Is all this a deception in the eyes of it? The more I think about it, the closer I step towards the inevitable. The bigger my fear of it grows. But after tonight, this nightmare too shall end. He points at the sky above him with a look of melancholic nostalgia in his eyes. It is the look of someone who's reunited with their closest friend one last time on their deathbed, filled with deep affection. When I caught a glimpse of the black seas of infinity, I finally understood one thing. I am... No, never mind. This has nothing to do with you. He stops talking altogether, but I have bigger things to worry about now. I know exactly how long it's been since his last ritual, although his most recent one was at the Torah. That was recent only for me. I'm not sure of the chronological order in which he acted. Though his first ritual was long ago, just a short instance of time travel is already very disorienting. And I can't imagine how someone who is used to it perceives the concept of sequences. Repeated, incomplete rituals at different points in time, brought together by a perseverance across time and space. Or persistence across time and space. That's the plan he just told me about. But time isn't everything. Every single ritual requires energy, a source of fuel, so to speak, in order to work. He only knows how to use fear to brighten the beacon, and always leaves an entry point for empty space in front of him to connect the space and time right before the ritual fails due to lack of energy. Teaching the villagers back then, as well as the shipwreck in Manila, must have required all sorts of arduous, painstaking preparation. Even his ritual at Torah, which came to a tragic and violent end, was delayed by 3 whole years, all because of the interference of a bunch of kids. These rituals must be incredibly hard to pull off. Him standing right there now is proof that all this has to be done, and everywhere he's been, of every time he's been to, he lets out a calm sigh of relief, as if a heavy burden has been lifted off his shoulders. 3 minutes to midnight. Just a few decades ago, I would have been so much harder to attract enough attention at this hour, but times have changed rapidly. So have the patterns of human behavior. It seems modern man has all but abandoned the concept of day and night. The combined experience of so many generations, the bright minds of so many humans, all culminating in this urban jungle that never sleeps. Who would have thought that this crowned achievement would one day be the cause of their downfall? You speak as your respect for life, but to me, your words are a mockery. I sense some malice in them. That's because I do not like here at all. Or, let me phrase that, I deeply despise the city. The people had a chance to realize the truth as I did, but they were overwhelmed by the details of prosperity, lulled by the shadow promise of superficial comfort, and they gladly succumbed to it without a hint of resistance. At the smallest sight of something just a tiny bit bigger, better, smarter, greater than them, people instantly became blind, proud, and irrelevant, unwilling to accept even higher level of truth, set in their ways and satisfied with their puny existence. In their eyes, they have already had enough miracles. Look down at this city, and all the splendid lights. Splendid little lights are just another charade of arrogance. Once a being that has transcended itself is revealed, they will all realize that there were ants trapped inside the pathetic little anthill all this time. They have long made their choice, whether knowingly or not. What is done, and their role is simply to serve as the light that ushers in the ultimate truth. You seem very confident what you're doing. Such is the difference between us. You lack vision and determination. The gap between us is much more apparent than ever. The use of words ends here. If there's any doubt left in your mind, let what happened next tell you everything. He turns away to never look at me again. The darkest pulsing in the vast sky has reached a greater scale by now. I realize what this means, even though I can't see it clearly yet. Its same presence, the same apparition in the sky that brought doom and despair down on Torah during the city's final moments. Without Dan's passageway and Yaz's last push, I would have been able to see more of what was going to happen after. I never did. And I can't help but think that despite my morbid curiosity, it's for the best. but the light appears for us different this time. It's still dense with something deeply unsettling, but the true fear comes from personal experience, from one's own dreadful imagination of what will happen next. Have experienced this before, it's easy to sense that something is missing this time. It's still that powerful, but somehow it still feels less oppressive on the soul. At Torah, it felt like a sea anemone discovering a whale swimming overhead for the first time. Now, it's still a whale, but it's more like looking at a picture of it rather than actually being there. These images, they're part of your depiction, aren't they? To us, the logic of it is chaotic and impossible to grasp. It acts more like a natural disaster that sweeps everything away. It has never chosen to start anything. It has never know what it means to stop. And perhaps it just doesn't care. It's impossible for me to directly use this rival to ignite the shining light of fear. All sense of order on Earth, as we know it, would dissipate into nothingness long before that. Emotions such as fear would drift away into this insignificance, thus interrupting the core principles of the ritual. A paradox, if you will. That is why I need its shadow. I need the idea of its existence, not the fact. This will allow me to drain enough fear from the city. It draws itself across 3 dimensions. It is indeed a trick, a depiction, as you so bluntly put it. Afterwards, things will go their pure, unadulterated way, as was always intended. Do you expect to thank you for me for being so honest? You speak of honesty as if it was such a high virtue. Lies are just a tool, and everyone in the city will be deceived by me. Just like you. I know all about your petty tricks now. Yes, so what? What's done is done. If I confess every single thing to you, nothing changes. Everything has been decided. So what could you possibly do? Please, take a closer look. Stop lying yourself. Do you see that? It's already begun. As he speaks, the sky changes once again. The darkness filled sky is restoring the light, like a curtain obscuring the view. The clouds start to fade away, and the night sky clears as the sound of a bell rings out. There's still a few clouds up above. Nothing about them looks remotely natural. Structures emerge. Strange shapes descend from above. Initially there are circles, many of them, and without luminescence, without reflection, these pure, perfectly round circles shimmer in the sky, going on and on, forming a strand of shapes eclipsing the size of the Milky Way. Their numbers are daunting, beyond any measure or comprehension. They're piled up on top of each other and appearing and dissipating, moving erratically as film scratches on an old movie screen. They completely take up the whole night sky. No doubt people are out there must have noticed them by now, probably overcome with a sense of disbelief at the sight of this geometric intrusion. This flood of imagery redefines what chaos and disorder means. However, things become more chaotic when these circles suddenly begin to show the bizarre color, a visual impact that defies our instinct of sight. Torah's nightmarishly surfaces. No, this is not a tangible appearance. This whole presence is just an illusion, a faint hint of what could be. It is only observing the scene from an infinite distance away. The actual thing has not invaded this world yet, and the deliverer's words proof of that. Yes, it's an illusion, simply an illusion. It's not real, but it still, at last, credits pulled back. Oh, hey! Hey, look, what is that? Oh, God. It's gigantic. Look up there, there's another one. Another what? Is that an eye? My God, it's everywhere. By virtue of its unfathomable size and writhing chaos, the being occupies the whole firmament. How is what you surely must be asking yourself. An illusion, even if it's merely a picture, it's still a picture of the original, an imprint of the actual thing, so to speak. An approach a little too close to my taste, but one that has to be proven to be effective. Definitely activate the spark. I saw what you did at Torah. Surely, this cannot come as much of a surprise to you. I'm fully aware that you retrieved your memories. Your eyes cannot deceive me. Instead of the lifeless dread and illness that generated fear back then, it will be these images this time. I am certain that this effect won't be much different. I'm still sensing a monster in your voice. Do you think it's a little late for that? With you being the man who brought on the end of days? I'm simply happy, as you should be able to tell. Oh, believe me, I can see that. My question is, how long will happiness last? Are you worried that I, like you, will not be able to accept annihilation? Let me assure you, I honestly do not think it's that big of a deal. Keep in mind my true goal, having decided to break the thin boundary between life and death, is of course perfectly normal to encounter a little confusion in the process. Do our thoughts breathe? Is there a heartbeat to what we're thinking in the end? Tying one's will to one's life has become nothing more than a shallow, wishful thinking from the very beginning. Bear in mind, there's absolutely no need for you to panic. Just think about it from a different perspective, and we'll soon meet again in a new world. No, I can't say that I care about that at all. No, is that so? So you're pretty more interested than I thought you'd be. Damn right. I'm curious to see how much longer you keep on floating. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm just giving you some advice, that's all. Doesn't it look like you prepared a backup plan if things go wrong? Are you implying that I'm gonna fail? Who knows? Surely you must be joking. The bells have chimed, the sky is overcast, and we're standing on top of the tallest building in the city. Every single detail is in accordance with the vision required for ritual. I am on the path to lead to success. Whether or not you like it, it's only a matter of time before I get here. At the smallest sign of you trying to interfere, my partner here will be happy to stop you with as much force as required. Please stop. That hurts. Do you finally see the difference between us? How could a break on that compass of yours? Surely you've been meticulous in your planning. But that's not the reason you've got to where you are now. There's nothing I could have done. Use trickery and powers you didn't even comprehend to get to this point. I'm just a puny human, aren't I? How great it must feel for you to have outdone me. Quite right. It seems you're starting to accept things for what they are. You can sway the outcome, especially in your current, unfortunate position. But I may not need to. I don't pretend to be the happiest kid on the block. These days are long gone. But I saw your gray hair, so tell me. When did you last browse the internet?
Oh, is that some kind of ad? Strange case files? I think I've heard that story before, don't you remember? Oh yeah, now you mention it! Wait, isn't this scary looking thing card there on an ad? Seems like it. Some form of new projection technology. It looks awesome!
True wisdom never goes out of style. What you consider useless advancements is our modern-day holy grail of knowledge. You may not understand it with all that twisted brain of yours, but the world has moved on since from transmitting wisdom through physical feats. Your train of thought is outdated as stone carvings. Nowadays, myths and miracles have become carefully preserved through records. People are armed with science to try to explain everything. You may consider it worthless, but it's far from it. It's the unknown that scares us. Why do you think we've been looking for more efficient methods on passing on knowledge for so many centuries? Our understanding is what actually are is of things actually. Our understanding of what things actually are is no longer dependent on their simple presence and witnessing them. We've come a long way. And inherent skepticism is one of our greatest blessings. That could be a good screenshot as well.
Oh, that's what that is! Whoa! And they must have timed this for Christmas Eve! A little earlier wouldn't have hurt their marketing. What? I didn't know this was a game. Oh my! It's trying to be a AAA title. Just look around, it's everywhere. I've never seen an advertisement campaign of such size for any game ever. It seems a little too hyped up. He must be a true geek. I can't say I don't know too much about that game. Me neither, but hey, that's really impressive. I'm tempted to go snag copy just to see what all the fuss is about. Let's go home. Just probably wait for us to join them. Come on. Oh yeah, you're right. Slowly, wait for him to slow down, wait for me. Oh, sorry. Look up.
So, I can't read that in time. We have our limits as human beings. We are indeed foolish, isolated, and lack knowledge. However, that is just a natural limitation of being human. Whilst it's true that most people are not prepared, there are various tools we have at our disposal have filled the world with superhuman beings we couldn't have imagined in the past. This modern age has long since become a vast ocean of knowledge and information, because our ears and eyes have become sensitive to everything around us, soaking up every little piece of information. With the current rate at which so much information is broadcast on a daily basis, no one has the time and patience to think about whether what they heard is true or not. We can easily manipulate how they interpret information. I don't share your obsession with knowledge. Don't need to. Wouldn't want to. I don't need to create a false truth for myself. I can just explain whatever I need to an underage hacker girl and pay her 3 packs of instant noodles and watch her take things to a course. All without leaving a trail of cold bodies, like you. And we're not fighting this battle alone. We have creativity, everyone has it. It's almost an innate talent of every human being, especially when it comes to entertainment, which is a waste of time in your eyes. I remember our talks about theater and art, and you are indeed very knowledgeable. However, you never quite understood the most critical aspect of it all. No matter which form of art assumes, it is always a pursuit of reality. What's going on here? This is the end of the world. What? How can you know about the? How can you not know about this? Have you been living under strange case files? That's actually a promo for a game? A light show? People all over the city are now bathing in a light, the size of which they've never seen before. Happy, intimidated, confused, all sorts of feelings circulate. Everyone is staring at it together, taking in this breathtaking, unexpected surprise. Looks kind of gross, to be honest. It looks super cool. Is the game already out? Oh, an awesome ad! What the hell is this thing? Among other things that there are to worry about this world, the end of days seems to be a lot lower on the list than Christmas dinner. So many people are just getting crowded. Come over here! Should I call the police? Oh, watch it, idiot! What's the matter? Someone just stepped on my foot. He may be right in saying that the seas horizon are too small to ever contain the truth. But perhaps it's thanks to our narrow horizons that we're capable of protecting ourselves in the face of this looming reality. This is not how it's supposed to be. Perhaps influenced by the emotions of the air, the gassy pile of flesh that's supposed to restrain me forgets all about its task. I pull away from it. I pull away from me with all the strength I can muster and approach the deliverer, who's still standing on the edge of the rooftop with a troubled expression on his face. Everything prepared made sense. Humans are not tough or smart creatures, and even the empty shell of something they know is enough to fill them with fear. Even right now, people down there are probably terrified of what they're seeing, but it's no different to them than watching a horror movie. How could you break my ritual? Who gave you this knowledge? Knowledge? That's the wrong word, I'm afraid. I'm just as ignorant to all this as you were when you first met me. But it doesn't matter anymore. These days, I'm able to form my own ideas. Ideas? This is just an idea of yours? Thankfully, we had a little time left after discussing your real plan. From that moment, focused all our efforts on preparing for it. And we've made it just in time. Even your painful old-fashioned despised modern world, you have to have heard of video games, right? I was so busy and stressed out trying to get everything done in a month that it cost us my precious hair. Luckily, we at Hermitage know how to do the job right. That is partially because of your help too. However, to be told, I can't say it's the most interesting story I ever told. The main character is an unlucky guy who runs all kinds of supernatural trouble. The real deal too. He makes good friends along the way, without whom he probably wouldn't have stand a chance. After successfully solving a multitude of nerve-wracking cases with his friends, all clues finally lead to the reveal of the true evil mastermind, the Overlord hiding behind the curtain. Who was the culprit all along? His own plan is to summon a great evil, godlike entity by holding a ritual in the center of a city on Christmas Eve. Just how corny and cliche is that? I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good game. Terrible story. 0 out of 10. Alright. Of course. Something like that can't just be created from nothing. It takes time and lots of effort. I pulled from my pocket the results of Scarlet and Just efforts and showed them my speechless nemesis. We make all of our connections to make what you're seeing now reality. Our ads are best on the bestsellers list. They're internet radio discussions of all our stories, videos, and articles, you name it. You could say business is booming from a marketing standpoint. The point is, something big is bound to happen in the city on Christmas Eve. Has always been the biggest gimmick. Do you think they're satisfied now? He looks down at Buster City Lights, his expression wroth with his troubles. The special effects are truly remarkable. Where else would anyone ever find such a powerful projector? A projector that could put a picture across the sky, and an entire city probably hasn't even been invented yet. This is not an advertisement. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I really want to kick you while you're down. But you've been working for us for a long time. I'm almost tempted to call you head of our marketing. But they are nothing but phantom-like images. Untold mysteries dwell behind them. People can tell what something defies their understanding. It's their natural instinct to be scared of what they don't know. So what? Today's climate? When are we ever not afraid of something? Throughout times, humans have learned to cope with the fear of the unknown. We all deal with it our own way. This is just an experience for these people. New entertainment products are released every day. We love to come up with ways to distract ourselves, be it through fear or fun. When tomorrow's news report comes, something else will have happened on the globe that will trouble people far more than a fancy video game ad. You're saying that they can just ignore all of this? It's simply ridiculous. How illogical. Don't fry your brain over this. Logic has nothing to do with it. It's simply the way we humans are. We are like ostriches in love, in that we love to bury our heads in the sand at the small sign of stress or pleasure. That is how we cope with reality. You can't possibly wake up someone who is pretending to be asleep. I just gave all these people an excuse to keep lying to themselves. Don't look down on the hopelessness of modern man. It's an underestimation you'll pay dearly for.
Slide, it's... So sorry. Are you sure you'll be fine? Someone's bound to know something's wrong. As long as it doesn't cause Weissers panic, you won't attract the real thing. At least that's what the professor said. We've come this far already, so let's trust his judgment on this one. We just start calling him Professor. Huh? What do you mean? It's okay. Never mind. I guess I didn't expect his solution to a problem of this magnitude to be so absurd. He pulled me straight out of class and made me skip school just so I could help prepare us for him. I've never seen him so instant before. But you never complained about it, did you? Of course not. I believed in you. I trusted you. I think they're much better at handling these situations than I am. I admire that. I am? Everyone's doing their best. I'm just trying to help out as much as I can. That's it. And that's it. Salil? That's exactly why I never complained.
seen some big news. Blog posts have been popping up all over the place.
I promised you, didn't I?
It's awesome. I thought you guys were just bragging.
No, when I say something, I mean it. You think we'd reserve the whole sky for just a simple fluke?
Hey, I'll let you know a secret. When you told me that you want to change the whole game from the ground up, I was pretty tempted to blackmail you.
Can't say that surprised me. I would have probably had the same idea.
Anyway, I trust that you know what you're doing. Remember to tell Justin he stole some dinner.
Sure thing, but tell me, what made your side agree to this?
6 years ago, there was a spill from a chemical plant near here. My mother was one of the victims. If the verdict had been delayed any longer, our family would have been crushed by the medical bills. It is a touchy topic in the community to this day. I'm indebted to the man who made the rounds to talk to victims. I even thought of running away from home to learn from him at one point. A little too late for it now, I guess.
So he's done this before?
He's got charisma, you know. He talked me helping you.
That sounds just like him.
I don't know why he's changed jobs. You should have talked with him. If anyone's able to persuade him, it's you. There's always been a story to be told, and the truth has to come out at some point.
I know. We'll do our best.
We will certainly will. I'll go take newer pictures.
A story that must be told. A never-ending one, if you ask me.
Congratulations. Was your plan was a big success, right?
Thanks to you, we have been able to pull off this without any of your help.
And we'll enjoy selling more books. It's certainly more fun to do something if everyone makes profit from it. And truth be told, we are very interested in advertising an agency you're working with.
You're interested in their technology, right?
It's pretty much the same thing. The whole performance just now was really imitating.
I'll ask around for you, but they have some special requirements that can't be sold with money.
It is a big secret?
Please do me a favor, and don't ask any more questions about that.
Well, suffice to say that I envy you.
Envy me? Although we were able to make a small splash this time, we are still far from being as astute as you are in terms of your work.
I didn't mean in a business sense. After working in publishing and distribution for so long, I started to wonder how long it's been since we've witnessed a true miracle. People all say that working on advertising campaigns is a powerful profession, but it's a job, and it's never that divine. That's what I've always believed in. Today, you showed me that such things really do fear first person.
Have you lost your confidence?
Let's say it's renewed my fighting spirit. After 5 or 6 years in business, I've finally discovered how high I can set my goals.
Luck with that.
Thanks for this interview.
Say what you about miracles. You're the ones who caused this one. Hang in there, heroes. Anyway, we'll be here for a few days, so try to get along.
What is this? You should have told me beforehand there would be a kid.
Huh? Never figured you'd for someone who hates kids. Stupid brute. You got something against me? Why say it in my face?
Now you jump my throat. As long as you don't become a nuisance, we're good.
You sure? Then why explain it to her? Slowly.
Well, hello. I'm Mr. Dan. And I don't have a single problem with you, okay? I'm sure we're good friends. This is...
Nobody likes you. I'm scared. Haha, how heartwarming. Hey, fix your mess. Come on.
Hey, guys? What is all this about?
Hey, big dumb fella.
What is this?
Next time I go to our turn pick up Yasmin. Are you sure you're okay with that?
I guess this is what you call a sensitive subject, right?
Come on. No dawdling. Simply treat her like your daughter. Your nationality doesn't matter. No one takes yourself so seriously.
You don't understand, but I wouldn't expect you to.
If it's too much trouble, I'll come along and help you.
No, it's fine. I'll go.
Huh?
I can't just keep making silly faces forever, can I? I still have a level of emotional intelligence, you know. And it doesn't make sense to keep running away like this.
Wow, that almost sounds...
You didn't hear a thing, alright. Anyway, just leave it to me.
Yeah, don't come run to me if you regret it later.
The auditorium, it's this way, right?
Mister, did you like my singing?
It was great. You're such a good kid.
I am such a good kid.
Yes, you're the best.
I'm so happy. Are we going home now?
We will be home soon. Let's hear for the others, okay?
Okay.
Good girl. I'll buy you some candy later.
Dad says I can't eat too much sugar.
Really? What should we do instead?
Mr. Dan, when I grow up, can I visit Sophie? I always want to play with Sophie.
You mean Sophia? Okay, it's a deal. Yasmin, what's wrong?
No. Thought will be over. Discovered.
Who are you?
Tension, not necessity. Body, just borrowed. She still, one moment, will be Bach. But help needed. Here, danger, need, investigation. But interference, can't, freedom, action.
I don't see any reason why I should agree to help you.
You have reason. Yes. For sake of Yasmin. Promise. Her safety would be danger.
Okay. Let's be clear, though. I don't trust you. What do you mean stay put? Explain this to me.
Dan, don't do this. We have very little time of knowing what the actual person who took the artifact wants. That is why, even more important, that he doesn't notice the changed circumstances. He's still in the dark, and that we have one way, and the only way we'll have opportunity to learn more about what is going on is if we make sure it stays this way.
Oh, is that me talking there? I guess that is. Okay. Followed by a fight to the death? Is what you expect. Throwing our lives away? There is a limit to what you can ask of us. It's the best option we have. With everything that has taken place at the school, don't you think we just keep quiet and run away from it all? Do you? There has to be a way to get out of here without Yasmin having to suffer through all this. I won't have her be used to it like this. Calm down. We'll only truly be safe once the problem is solved. Whether it's us or Yasmin, everyone here's the same boat. So don't get carried away.
That almost sounds like something a villain would say.
I can't accept this. Whatever you do to me, whatever you want me to do not ask me to do nothing.
Do nothing. That's an actual strategy in itself, in a way, isn't it?
Your sword will be safety, however. A little patience goes a long way. Get a good night's sleep, everyone. I'm afraid we won't have much sleep tomorrow if things go according to plan.
Mister, did you get in a fight?
Oh, no. Nothing like that.
Oh.
So, Yasmin, if anything seems strange the rest of tomorrow, you have to run outside school immediately. Do you hear me?
How can I visit my friend Sophie?
This might be a bit difficult right now, I'm afraid. But don't worry, we'll protect you. What have we done?
Mister, not feeling very well.
Stop talking. Come on, take a deep breath. Give up. This is because of your companion's recklessness. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do now. Even if the beginning in contact with this child is more than capable. You, get out of here. Say something snarky. Really? I do think that there are some more constructive proposals here. Your name is Dan, right? If I told you that there is a way for this child to escape her fate, would you help me accomplish it?
It's quite simple. Just don't let it happen if you don't want to see the results.
What did you say?
I can help you survive this pending doom. However, even with my experience, there is no guarantee that you will still be yourself afterwards. The choice is yours. If you already made up your mind, come with me. It's that simple. Just give them an answer, and they won't consider their possibilities. It's just a game. The explanation itself really doesn't matter. As long as they believe that a human was capable of doing it, the rest of the problem basically solves itself. Dan does respond immediately. The giant man is just standing there, rigid as a statue. He couldn't move even if he wanted to. Zack looks at his silent opponent and lets out a sigh of relief. They all experienced a crash landing just now. While Zack and the others were closely in on Dan's distraction, Salil promptly activated a mechanism they prepared in advance. Nico positioned a dangerous chemical in the factory beams. After being ignited by an electric spark, they can reach a detonation speed of 10 kilometers per second, and the results are predictable. The floor of the abandoned factory that once carried tons of manufacturing equipment is incredibly thick, and it's absurd to think that such a layer of reinforced concrete could be held up by such a single human. As it turns out, Zack is still underestimating Dan's abilities. The floor gave way beneath him. The giant man fell into the basement below the factory. However, Zack still doesn't believe that this wouldn't cause Dan much physical pain. Since puncture wounds don't seem to bother him, a few meters of free falling probably wouldn't do him much harm either. Dan's behavior has become completely irrational. However, since he persisted in going after Zack, the end was inevitable. Zack's goals remain the same. All of these weapons, traps, steps, serve only one purpose: to stand up against Dan as long as possible. Although the process wasn't quite what he expected, it yielded required results, at least for the time being. I hate being treated like a circus monkey. Don't be like that. A monkey was once, pretty much in the same position you're in now. That guy had a whole bunch of people fooling around too. Cut the crap. Just give up. There's no point in dragging this on any further. We've tampered with all the beams and columns in this factory. If you keep struggling, you're just get stuck even more. At least that's what Nico said. Zack adds silently. Zack can see the window from this angle, but the boy can imagine the chaos and the confusion all the smoke and dust will have caused outside. The whole plan works surprisingly well. They probably brought down a whole 2 floors. More fortunately, Dan landed in the middle of the room, so the impact didn't cause any more chain reactions, allowing Zack to teeter on the very edge of the destruction. We've been working all month to catch you. You're not gonna get out of here this time. You didn't really think you could trap me like this, did you? No succeeding, Tora. You have forgotten that, have you? To liquid nitrogen? I think you have any brains. I might just be a brute fool, but I have help. I couldn't get everything in this building right by myself. And you're not going up against me, you're going against all of us. That's the difference between us. Your memory doesn't seem very useful, and I have friends of my own. Come on, don't lie. If your friend had really done his job, I wouldn't still be here right now. That tells me he's in big trouble. They're going up against all of us, not just me. Oh yeah? And so great store manager is nowhere to be seen. You've been with him longer than I have. You should know he's not the emotional type. Yeah, I know. Dan sees wounds in his will to fight. He's still upright, but his momentum is slowing down. The stinging sensation on Zack's skin finally subsides, and he can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. In truth, he's not sure what to do next. According to Nico, the factory's beam support structure is much sturdier and heavier than it looks. But Zack can't just be found here among the rubble and wreckage. He could also continue to follow the plan and work with his companions to empty the liquid nitrogen tanks hidden in the corner of the room one by one, chipping away at Dan slowly but surely. That plan sounds cowardly and inhumane, but it's the least risky way to go about it. If this doesn't work, nothing else will either. Look at the motionless opponent in front of him. Zack can't reconcile it with his heart to give his companions the execute order. Suddenly, Dan calls out to Zack in a soft, almost fatherly voice. Kid, come here. What? Don't make me move, I'm telling you. Shut up and come here. What's he trying to do? Dan's expression is stern and serious. A far cry from one he was wearing 5 minutes ago. Crushed on so many bricks and tiles, there shouldn't be any way for him to cause as much trouble as before. This is probably as safe a time to approach him as any. After weighing his options, Zack decides to trust his arch-enemy one more time. If we fight back, he's just gonna hurl insults at him, or does he have a backup plan and wants to all the time? Zack repeatedly goes through all the different possibilities in his mind. He controls his breathing and moves carefully, minimizing any potential danger by paying the utmost attention. No problem. Everything should be fine. There's no problem. He's now staying dangerous close to his opponent. Just what do you want to say to me? I'm listening. How nice of you to consider yourself a winner so quickly. I'm serious. I remember you saying that you were gonna give yourself up for your goals. That's right. Although I really didn't give up in the end. There was something in that water that you gave me back then, wasn't there? Thanks. Don't worry about it. You were never meant to be one of them. I was just saving your life out of courtesy. Do you regret it? I never regretted it. I never have. I never will. Talking out of curiosity. What would you do if someone had chose again? Give yourself up? Helping a friend? How little you care about yourself. I saw that long ago. There's no need to prove that again. But right now, at this point in time, are you willing to sacrifice everything to help others? I didn't think you were the kind of guy to ask such silly questions. That's because it comes down to this. You choose to be with them, and I choose to be them. Which is why we're not the same. I don't get it. We're not the same, but you still have a chance to switch sides. Things have a way of working out, just not the way you want them to. I don't think she wants the world to be the way you want it to be either. No one fits in that world, and no one will be happy there. Yasmin doesn't want anyone to be sad. I don't believe that. I wouldn't have believed him either, but I don't know her that well, but the manager came out of this whole thing alive. I wouldn't have believed that either. Become me. What did you say? Join me, and you'll never have to betray anyone ever again. What, you want the guts to do it? So that's what you're after? Well, I'm not doing it. I'm trying to find a way to coexist peacefully, and you're getting in the way of that. If you want to keep lying to yourself, that's fine, but don't treat everyone else as if they're a coward like you. Coexist, huh? We're sure are different. That is true. I don't need to say it another 3 or 4 times, do I? Okay, fine. Dan smiles oddly. Then, prove yourself in a different way. Along with the giant man's words, something happens to Zack that he never expected. The world is shaking. What? An earthquake. The first thing that comes to mind, but is quickly overruled by Zack's rationality. That's pretty random, and Dan's parents clearly have something to do with it. Boy, don't forget I'm still a human being. Even if you restrict me like this, I still have my mind. Can you pull a beam by my power alone? Don't make me laugh. Who knows? Since we're both human, it's known for us to use tools, right? It just so happens that my whole body's a borrowed tool. Though it takes them a while to understand what Dan means by tool, Zack's beginning to fully get the picture now. It's true that Zack's companions haven't tampered with all beams in sports, but that doesn't mean that the factory can withstand a large hole being blown open in the center. They calculated Zack's safety, that Zack could safely escape from all this, But that was in regards to the building's slow planned collapse, not its random destruction. If damage is greater and more rapid than expected, who knows how long the decrepit building will last. And that is what is happening now. You know, ridiculous. This whole thing's gonna collapse. You think I fucking care? Dan laughs mockingly, and his moves and all supporting columns of the factory start shaking, locked to their very foundation. It's clear that they did the demolition job too well. Daddy, run! This place is collapsing. Panicked, and the only thing that Zach can remember is to call to his friend's name. But where can I run to? The whole building's coming down, and Zach can't find a stable spot to stand on except for where he is right now. And that spot too is crumbling on his feet. Any second now. Zach hears desperate cries and pleas for help. In a situation like this, the higher you stand, the greater danger you're in. Unfortunately for his companion, the higher up they are high up, and not with him in the hole that they burst open as it collapse. Before Zach stands back, the pillar crushes down the direction towards the English cries for help. Smoke and dust rise up, and suddenly, there are no cries in that direction. Shit. Zach's in a panic, but the panic will solve any of his problems right now. There are so many things to look out for. How about it? Who's gonna help? Shut up. Why is this happening? Why? Zach digs his nails to his palm and clenches his fist. In the midst of a collapse, surrounded by debris and destruction, one single arrogant laugh can be heard. This is your limit. No matter how much you want it, no matter what you tell yourself, slaying the hero won't suddenly make you go rings. You're nothing than a sad sack. Zach's words stopped abruptly. Something's happening to Dan that he didn't see coming. After the structure collapsed, the weight of the bricks and tiles descends upon everyone. And it gets worse. The cell containers that were stored away in the corners of the room have been smashed open by falling rocks and are split into large amounts of cold air. The beams are tilting towards the giant man. The crumbling walls are weighing down on his body, one after another. Dan looks like mythical Hercules, holding up a huge concrete mass above his head. He almost feels like sinking to the ground. The weight he keeps building, and Dan is struggling to hold up. His smile growing more intense by the second. Wait, this means he can be killed this way. Reality crashing down on Dan's dwindling flesh has to prove this hypothesis. Muscles are reaching their breaking point, veins throbbing under flaming skin. Bones of the giant man are cracking as much as the building around them, plain sympathy of destruction. A human body cannot support an entire ceiling. Even so, Dan is smiling. Get used to this. There'll be a lot more of this in the future. Join us and see what happens. His body's falling apart alongside everything else. It isn't a purely physical disintegration, but sort of a gradual necrosis from the inside out. And Zach can hear Dan's body making squelching sounds as it turns less and less human. Don't just decide to die, do you hear me? If this is how I die, this is a human death. Without enough supporting pillars, everything is crashing down at a rapid rate. The ceiling is like a black canopy of death, crumbling down the giant man beneath it. Don't play around with me. You haven't paid your debts yet. Come out here and settle a score with me. Zach picks a steel rod from the ground and sticks it beneath the concrete makeshift. As a makeshift support beam to the next Dan, but his efforts are as futile as his furious cursing. In response to dangerous yells, the giant man makes a final, wicked declaration. I'll be waiting for you, kid. Wait. Are you kidding me? I don't remember if I had his voice at all. Zach. Nope. Zach.
Okay. He can hear the vague cries of his companions and rapid footsteps approaching him through the mounds of broken bricks and tiles. Zach breathes out a sigh of relief at the news as his friend survived, if only just. Not dead. Just a little crushed. Just didn't get crushed. What, were you hoping I'd be? I'm just kidding. Somehow the happiness Zach should be feeling right now is gum. Zach's always been very aware of his physical strength. His legs alone wouldn't have been enough to keep him alive just now. At the last minute, he saw dust and smoke issuing from below him. The ceiling hadn't actually crashed down on them at that point. Some sort of impact lifted him up and forced him back. I'm waiting for you, kid. Zach pulls himself up with the help of his friend to inspect the huge trail of destruction behind him. Wreckage, broken walls, there is no room or crevice for a 2-meter tall man to fit into, even though he technically should be buried somewhere in the rubble. What his last words mean? Zach has no idea. He decides to put that particular problem aside for now. We're actually alive. All of us. Hey, you can say it a little nicer. Alright, good job. Does your phone still work? Tell Nico I'm the manager. Are you sure all this is over? Despite all this, he wasn't entirely human after all. Justin isn't about to let go, and Zach considers what to say next, hesitating before he answers the detective's question. That's right. It's over. Everything is solved. It's over. Oh. 6 complete the final ending. Cool. I'm glad it's over. Interviews are really pleasant, but Justin feels good about this one. These past few months have been busiest for the detective in quite a while. With Christmas chaos resolved, the city soon returned to normal. As always, people didn't want to raise any more questions than they had to. With the source of it all gone, and any interest in what happened quickly subsided and was forgotten about. However, it's not like nobody caught wind of what happened. People have been talking, and everyone in Hermitage has been busy scouring the city for rumors about that night in an attempt to stop them from spreading. Naturally, Justin has been taking his job very seriously. Disguised as a journalist, he established contact with people who claimed to have seen strange things Christmas Eve. During his conversations, he cleverly manipulated them to the point where they were no longer sure that what they saw was ever even real. It takes a lot of acting skills and talent for improvisation to deliberately sabotage an interview. After all, Justin knows best whether these rumors are true or not. Surprisingly, this job is easier than I thought it would be. The store manager's account paid off. Hermitage's new owner never managed to summon the greater being, and while the terrified apparitions and images in the night raised suspicion and caused panic, that's all there was. The threat was quickly snuffed out and in its infancy, leaving it to the smartest people to save the world of blissful ignorance. As for the deliverer mentioned himself, fear and despair were the fuel he needed, and he wanted citywide unrest. Fortunately, the detective and his friends were able to put a stop from the fear spreading with the help of a ridiculous, albeit genius ploy. And for a variety of reasons, the game called Strange Case Files was shelved shortly after release due to its sensitive content. This naturally led to a small wave of conspiracy theories, but nothing in the world couldn't handle. There is only so much work that can be done in a month, not to mention the fact that Justin and Scarlett's main focus was on making all kinds of connections. Although the store manager's good writing did appeal to some people, the game's sales were still disproportionately low compared to its fancy publicity stunt. Even though the production cost was close to zero, after several hasty last-minute changes and adjustments, it received lackluster scores from the game press. Fortunately, aside from a handful of frustrated collaborators, the entire production team had no complaints about it. What counts most is that the game had a Christmas chapter. Justin heard from the store manager that within a few seconds of advertising the campaign, the deliverer suddenly transformed into an eternal mass of flesh. All of them had come to know all too well. No attack, no attempt to flee, and in the end, it ended up a lifeless clump of matter. Justin had imagined countless possibilities concerning their confrontation,
as well as all sorts of good or bad endings. But he never thought that it would be all in so quietly. It exceeded his expectations, but also made no sense. Better because of the cost. This man simply did not do too many things that he shouldn't have, and pushed himself and the entire city to the limit with unimaginable event after another. There is no way to walk away from something like that. Unlike Hylde, the liver doesn't even have a final resting place. At the end of the day, a final gesture of kindness to the stranger's lost soul, driven to madness. They commissioned one of Scarlet's contracts to transport a box full of gooey, dead matter to the countryside near Lusterning for a hasty burial. Justin can't even remember the man's face. He only met him once, and his words were just strange and enigmatic as the man himself. Although the words themselves seemed genuine, they were, in hindsight, less sincere than even the most hypocritical of lies. However, mistakes of the past and the associated remorse are starting to lose their importance. As time goes on, it becomes obvious that their seeking blame in the past amounts to nothing. When it comes down to it, Justin is satisfied with the outcome, and wouldn't change for the world. Slowly returning to Phoenix High to extend the rest of her studies as an artist. Her wounds are finally starting to heal, much to her relief. It's strange how long a simple injury from a bike ride accident can last. With her newfound courage and approach, her impersonal relationship healed even quicker than the wound. Though Elise had her hands full with her final exams, there is still always a place in the art club for Salil. It came as no surprise that things didn't quite go as well for Zach. After skipping a lot of classes for no apparent reason, nor to participate in investigations, the school is watching him with an eagle's eye, as ready for a teacher to accompany him at all times to prevent him from slacking off. He still has no plans to be a regular student. Zach is using his connections to help investigate any lilac grass that may have been left behind at the local schools, and is also looking for a place where some companies of his who don't exactly have it easy can settle down. So far, no one has found a way to restore the body of someone who has fully transformed. Just Scarlet managed to intercept the transformation device and got it back as evidence from the police station. But the marker of the device never designed it to operate in reverse. Offering these poor people good lives is a daunting task. Although the shacks of the city outskirts are a temporary solution, it will take a lot of effort for them to live a life free of social contempt. Nico's still staying in Hermitage, but the store manager can't seem to stand the thought of someone living an even sloppier lifestyle than he does. He has only recently managed to clear out a little space on the second floor so that Nico can have a relatively normal living environment at the very least. Taking care of the little girl isn't all that hard for the store manager, especially now that he's no longer bound in the store. In fact, Nico is the most active of the group. She's actually managed to completely break off her relationship with her former guardian, and is now focusing on the aftermath of Christmas Eve. Justin has a few serious conversations with her about her future, but it's clear that the little devil has become a nomad for too long. She'll never be satisfied with sticking to a regular routine. The best the detective has managed to do is to get her to have a look around and Google some stuff. There's still a long way to go before she logs into school. Scarlet and store manager, on the other hand, have been busy interfering with the disposal of the abandoned factory's ruins. Naturally, housing and development department isn't happy to have people come in and out and tell them what to do for no valid reason, but with their connections and their ability to talk stories around people, they have been successful with their plans so far. So put, too many secrets have been hidden behind those walls that must never be allowed to leak out. The most troublesome thing is that even though there is a mountain of confidential documents about it, no agency official has stepped forward yet, which frustrates them no end. Just knows that there are some things buried there that the two of them definitely won't miss, such as stands by beneath the rubble or a spirit transfer device. Letting go of either of those is the easiest thing to do in the world. So, naturally, the workload of the Golden Maxime law firm has been dumped on Justin. He doesn't know how to feel about that yet, but his first impressions is not good. Let's think about it. It's been quite a while since we last saw each other. Salil and Zach are still students after all, and can't bend their schedule
like Justin can at his job. Because of that, when winter holidays come, they hung around the store as often as possible could, spend time with the store manager, and helping with the aftermath of all of it. Because of everything that happened, both Nico and Justin are flooded with more side jobs than ever before. They also help Scarlet keep the office clean. A task by itself is enough to make Justin feel as if he's rapidly balding with stress. However, even when you're busy at work, you should always find time to do something meaningful for yourself every day. He returned to the place that has become somewhat of a second home to him by now. Hermitage doesn't have a business sign up today, but it's buzzing with even more noise than usual inside.
What? How could you forget that? I put it on my shopping list in pink neon letters.
Well,
It's a New Year's Eve dinner, and you're missing the vital ingredients. You're so old. Shouldn't you know better than that? Nico, I think there's a strange smell come from upstairs. Oh, Salil, don't worry. That's soup I'm making.
holy crap, is this normal? Can you really smell soup like that?
Now, sorry, my doubts will survive this night.
I can't make a cat sound. No matter what the world out there is like, peace, happiness shall prevail today. A celebration of friendship, a warm reunion of inseparable companions bound by fate. Justin can't help but smile as he opens the door. What's going on here? You gotta start without me? No matter what the future holds, the present is something to cherish. Through trials and tribulations, the story of the past year has come to an end. Hermitage, Stone Case Files, the end. Alright. God. What a game. I mean, game's probably the wrong word for it. There's not a whole lot of gameplay in this, let's be honest. There's a few detective things you have to do. But, I mean, it's more of a game than, oh god, what's that game called? It's not her story, but it's like her story. Telling Lies? Yeah, Telling Lies. It's more of a game than Telling Lies. Because, I mean, technically the gameplay there is just search up videos, but, like, there's no failure state. It's just, you search videos until you get to 5 o'clock, then you leave, and you get an ending. It doesn't matter if you actually understood the story or not. This one at least somewhat forces you to understand what's going on to a degree. You know, with the solving of case files and whatnot, or suspicions. But yeah, what a game! What a game! Or I guess what a story. It's a really good story. Don't know else to describe it. Like this is a story that you'll not see in a AAA game or any modern game. Especially now that everything's online only and multiplayer focused, and nothing bloody matters. But yeah, what a game. I kind of play more visual novels, to be honest. Like, these stories here are quite amazing. That's the credit sequence. Already? I'm used to like 20-minute credit sequences. Sure, try the main menu. Is there any like options or anything? I can't look at the soundtrack? Dang it. So I want to discuss this game a bit more, but I know the other credit sequences. But yeah, like, it's a very well written game. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, like, it's definitely interesting. just it's complete. I don't know what to say about this game. I enjoyed it. Where I break this based on versus Doki Doki Literature Club, that was a good game for like a different reason. Because that was psychological horror, whereas this, I guess in the same way as that, maybe, I don't know. Because that game itself is a game that will mock you for liking dating sims. So you have to play dating sim long enough to get to the point where it mocks you for that. Whereas this game is just, I don't want to call it a pure detective game, because not a whole lot of detective research there. You have a bunch of notes and you do your thing. It's about as detective of a game as Murdered Still Suspect is. Technically more, because I think it's more permutations with these answers. I think the other one was just, I don't remember. I haven't played Murdered Still Suspect in 5 years. Well, it's another game I enjoyed. Also, sorry, that's not. Well, I would say it's not so far from that, but obviously, in this game you turn the cats and you go back to the past. So that's not really a fair comparison. This game is much more complex than that game. Though that game had gameplay. But like, yeah, I mean, for a visual novel, this is perfect. Brilliant story, fun to play, good characters, well-written characters. And yeah. I don't know. Maybe I would just enjoy visual novels more than enjoy action video games now. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. Considering... Well, we'll see when it releases. Hopefully, I think my goal now is to have this episode released on Christmas Eve. Because that's when this game ended. I think that would be a good fit. I could probably stitch together like 7 thumbnails and do that. I guess we'll find out. If you're listening to me rant here, then I've already uploaded this, obviously, but I'm just ranting at this point. Playthrough's over. Yeah. I gotta see what else there is to play. I want to do more of this. I want to do more visual novels. Preferably of this style of game where it's, you know, slightly horror-y, detective-y. And yeah, but that's gonna do it for this playthrough. I'll see you guys over there next. Until then, peace.